For those of you that do not know me, my name is Eroktic, leader of Skra, the messenger of Comrade Mikhail Kalashnikov, God bless his soul. I'm your AK guy. The AK is in my room, in my attic. We have the production of the AK weaponry in the Skra headquarters. We have two, not one, two AKs engraved on the symbols of our flags, dude. I would not say that I'm the person with the most PMC kills with the AKs in Tarkov, because there is always one nutcracker that is playing the game 20 hours a day in his basement and nobody heard about him. But I would say that I have the most PvP kills over all content creators with the AK, and on YouTube and on Twitch. So if there is anyone that knows the best about the goddamn AKs in Tarkov, yes, you guessed it, it's me. It's not even a flex, it's a fact check, it's a reality. And today, we're gonna do a goddamn AK tier list. I was also preparing the spreadsheet of the tier 2 and tier 1 ammunitions in the games. And today, we're gonna go
What's going on, brother?
over all of them.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Shut your
Smile
mouth,
or
dude.
get
I'm
TW
in the middle of
glorious
the work.
AK.
I'm in the middle of the situation, dude. There is a lot of different AKs in a game. Most of the people do not even know the difference. They don't even know the difference. So, I mean, I can quite obviously see that this is AK-74M and this is AK-101, right? Because of the gas chamber and the grip, how it's... You know, but for your own sake, I left and the RPMs and the type of the ammo and the name and everything, okay? For the better quality of life of a viewer, sneakenergy.com, use code SCRA. By the way, short disclaimer. There is gonna be a couple of things that are worth knowing before we jump into the tier list. I want you to understand my whole perspective, how I'm looking at the tier list. I'm looking at the tier list, the flexibility of the modifications. I'm taking in account, of course, time to kill, reliability. Budget will also be the key factor of all of this, but quite not, you know? For example, if you can put in the AK tier 1 ammo, that is, I don't know, 995, and if it is full auto, it is gonna be high tier. No matter if the ammo costs 7,000 rubles, you know? But I'm gonna also take in the account, is there an alternative, like 855A1, that is gonna be much cheaper, and it can also go inside of the gun. So, diversity in the modifications, how you can mod it, recoil accuracy, time to kill, and all of that good stuff, okay? The another thing that is worth pointing out, you will not see LMG here, RPK, you will not see assault carbines like Val, you will not see Sayaga 9 or PP19 because those are the SMGs. You're gonna see the raw ARs, AKs. That is it, okay? This is my own tier list, not yours, and my heart would put every single one of them on the S tier, man. If this is my own personal tier list, every single glorious Kalashnikov weaponry would go on the S tier, man. You cannot pick in between the kids, dude. You can't. But we're gonna use brain and the facts in this tier list. Let's begin. Right off the bat, just to lower down the garbage from the bottom. AKS-74U. Get the fuck out of here. AKS-74UB. Get the fuck out of here. Trash ass guns. They're trash. Shit, dog ass, garbage, piece of shit weapons. Never use those guns. Never. They're terrible, terrible, terrible guns in the Tarkov. The reason why is because the recoil in Tarkov is trash. The only time when you're gonna use those baby AKs is when you're gonna need to buy one to trade it to the Punisher for the quest. No matter how much currency, no matter how much money you put in a baby AK, they're dog shit. Like, the only way how I see myself using baby AKs is with a PSO scope and single tapping the guys. That is it. Literally, that is it. But there are better alternatives to do that, so why bother? You're gonna miss pretty much everything with this gun. I'm just gonna select one. There you go. AK-104. It has 600 RPM and it is using 7.6239. As you can see, 7.6239 BP is tier 1 ammo over all of the AKs. The reason why is because they buffed the chest HP. Before that buff of the chest, 995 and BS, they were the best. The best, because it was 2 tapping the chest. Right now, 995 and BS, they are 3 tapping the chest. BP is still 2 tapping the chest, for the majority. This is also worth noting, 90% of people, 95% of people that are playing Tarkov right now are playing up to Armor 5. You're gonna see a couple of people running Armor Class 6 in this current state of the game, and I am ranking the current state of the game. So BP is tier 1, undisputedly, the best ammo in the game for the AKs. So, right off the get-go, AK-104 is going to be high tier, like no doubt about that. The only downside about 7.6239 bullets is, of course, recoil. You know, you're not getting too much of a recoil like the rest of the AP rounds. This is the recoil, by the way. But still, 7.62 by default kicks pretty hard. And the thing about this one is you cannot put best in slot butt stocks. So you cannot put really good stocks. You can put PT 3 on top, and you cannot also put mounted rails on top. So it won't be S. There are a couple of things that are, you know, we're gonna keep it at A for now. This is not my final verdict on the AK-104. We're gonna probably move things here and there for a bit. We're gonna see. Next on the list, AK-101. It is using 5.56 ammo, and 5.56 ammo is right after the BP. And to be completely honest, in this current meta, I would probably even say that 8.55 A1 is a better ammo than 9.95. To be completely honest, it would probably go above 9.95. 9.95 is really powerful when you're fighting 6s, but maybe I should rank 8.55 above, just because of the fact it is 2 tapping chest. So let's just move it like that. It has 650 rounds per minute. It is gonna be top tier. Like 8.55A1, it is not that expensive, right? And I would actually vote that AK-101 is better than AK-104, just because of the fact it has way lower recoil. You're not getting any kind of a recoil increase. You're gonna have less accuracy, but it is really easy to control 5.56s. And despite the fact that it cannot have the best in slot stock, I would still put it on A, maybe even on S. We're gonna put AK-104 on B, and I'm gonna put AK-101 on the A. Vapor, AKM, VPO. This is .366, the only .366 AK in the game. It has only single fire. In the theory, it is a really good gun, but the reason why I'm saying it is a really good gun, look at the damage. It is 1 tapping the chest, in theory. In theory, it is 1 tapping the chest. Even Armor 5, it is disgustingly powerful. Disgustingly powerful. In theory. In the practice, it is a completely different spectrum. .366 AP would be most likely 100% definitely #1 ammo in the game over all AKs, but it isn't. And the reason why it isn't is because semi-auto in Tarkov is trash, because netcoding and because of a hit registration. So when you're using single fire guns, you have to click the head on the non-moving object. That is it. Semi-auto sucks, sadly. And the high RPM guns will always win semi-auto guns for the majority of the fights. In the majority of the fights, you're fighting CQC up to the, 20-30 meter range. 366 AP should be great for like sniping or whatever, but look at the accuracy. Look at the recoil, initial recoil. So you cannot spam it. You cannot spam that gun. Dispersion is gonna go like this, dude. You have to click, 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 click. And when you click and you click, the other guy emptied half of the mag in you already and you are dead. So that's a sad true. 12.7, 12.8 patch, by the way. Just because of the practice. I really like the gun. I'm still using it. Despite the fact that I know how trash it is, I'm still using it. But we're gonna for now put it on D. Maybe even on E. I'm gonna put it on E. AK-74M is one of my top favorite weapons in the game. With AK-74N. Those two guns are pretty much the same. Pretty much the same. You can mod them really close, but kinda not. Because on the AK-74N, you can put best in slot buttstock. On the M, you can't. But both of those have a mounting rails for the PSO scopes. And just because of that fact, I'm gonna put M on A tier and N on the S tier. N is my favorite, definitely. AK-74N is... You can mod it so goddamn good. It has no recoil. When you fill it with the BS, it is gonna shred. Despite the fact that BS is on 4th tier. BS is shredding. Even Igolnik. Like those two, BT is everywhere. Like you can find ammo so goddamn easy for that gun. It has 650 RPM. For this AK, you can have the lowest amount of the recoil in the game. Undisputedly. The lowest amount of a recoil than any AK. It is just that good. And highest ergonomics. You can mod this guy no matter how much you want. AK-74M is really close. Like really close. Like it would probably go in the middle. Here in between S and A. How close they are. But I'm just gonna leave it on A. AKS-74N. That is... the same shit like AK-74M. They're almost the same. They have the same stats, and despite the fact that it says M here and here, they have pretty much the same stats, and you can modify them pretty much exactly the same. Vapor KM VPO. It is the another single fire variation of the AK, and it is using 7.6239 BPs. Now, in the theory and in the practice, if you want a single fire AK, you're gonna use 366 AP, but like I already said, single fire sucks dick. I'm gonna move 366 TKM on the D tier, and I'm gonna put Vapor on the E tier. They have exactly the same recoil. If you're single firing, you kinda wanna land those shots. I would still put 366 TKM Vapor over the 7.6239 Vapor. Despite the fact that 366 has a higher recoil. You're gonna have to land those steady shots, and the 366 is just doing the job better. That is it. Next on the list, we have AK-103. That is 7.6239. It has 600 RPM. You cannot put the best in slot stocks. It is pretty much the same like AK-104. Pretty the same. It has a longer barrel. I was testing out the differences in between the rail, like barrels. Is the recoil higher? Is the recoil lower? On the AKs, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter really. Point firing is gonna be almost the same. Like, yeah, there is gonna be a tiny difference in the short barrel, but even pushing CQC, nah, barrels are whatever. AK-103, AK-104, they are pretty much the same. You can mod them exactly the same. It is whatever. Next on the list, we have Akmsn. It is using the most brutal caliber in the game. Overall of the AKs. It can go full auto. It has 600 RPM like any other 7.6239 AK in the game. But there is a downside. It has literally no upgrades on the buttstocks. And the recoil is gonna be trash. And since the recoil is trash and you have to control that full auto, I cannot rank it above 104 and 103. I can't. It is worse than AK-104 and AK-103. So Akmsn is gonna definitely go on C tier. Definitely. Next on the list, AKM. You can swap the buttstock on this one. It has full auto. It is exactly the same, but the only thing is that you can swap the buttstock. Although it does not have mounting rail and you cannot fully modify it with like scope plus sight, canted sight. So AKM is gonna definitely go on A tier, easy A tier. I love that gun. I fucking love that gun. It is so good. Next on the list, AK-74. It is really, like I said, really powerful. The only thing is that you cannot put the mount. This is the actual half of the tier. I'm gonna have to place this AK on in between S tier and A tier. Because it is better than M and N, because you can swap the buttstock, but you cannot swap the mounting rail. You cannot put the mounting rail. So yeah, AK-74 is definitely borderline S and A. And that is the only downside. So if you're not playing with canted sights, this is gonna be S tier for you, easy. AKMS is the same shit like AKMSN. On N, you can put a mount, so you can kind of semi-auto tap with the scopes and stuff like that. Since AKMS does not have mount for the PSO, it is gonna drop on the D tier. That is the only reason why it is better than AKMSN. Next on the list, AKMN, undisputedly the best AK in the game at this very stage. You can put canted sights and PSO. You can fully upgrade that gun with the best in-slot mods. It is disgusting. Disgusting. Whatever you have in your stash, with this goddamn gun, it will work. Undisputedly, like, no doubt in my mind. Those two guns are highly moddable. Don't need to say anything else. AK-74, you cannot mount anything on top, like on M and N, and you cannot change the buttstock. So this guy goes on the B tier, easy. AK-105, you can mod it exactly the same like AKS-74, but it has 50 less RPM. Oof! This one is trash, oh boys. It is less powerful than B, it is less powerful than C, it is less powerful than D? You know what I'm gonna say? If you wanna run unmodded AKs, this AK should be the best one because of a low recoil, because of a low RPM. So I cannot put that really low. I would actually use AK-105 unmodded over modded AKMS, modded Vapor. So I'm gonna put it on C, just because you can control this gun without spending too much on the mods, just because of a lower recoil. I cannot put it on a B tier though. No, I cannot put it on B tier. Yeah, C tier it is. AK-105 C tier. AK-102 is exactly the same thing like AK-105. Those two guns are exactly the same. You should not even mod those. Like really budget modifications. Just because it has a weaker RPM than any other AK, and they're doing exactly the same damage. So you can use the same tier of the ammo. You do not have to modify them the most. And to be completely honest, AK-102 and the AK-105 should be the best low-level PMC AKs in the game. I would use AK-102 or AK-105 with BT or 855A1 over 76239 or 399 Vapors or AKMSN. So yeah, this is it. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Tell me your thoughts.